and it turns out I didn't start the channel for Facebook, and I just did now. The thing about it is that, believe it or not, he helps others. We were so busy I didn't start, but let's go to Donald. Come on in, Donald.
Hey, good morning, Alberto. Good morning, Neil. How are you guys today?
Hi, good morning. Thank you.
Talk to me, Donald.
This is the reason. Okay, this is the reason Neil protests and stands out there. He wants his voice heard, and that's the only way he can get heard, and that's a good thing. And Egberto, we know that engineers design everything for failure now, whereas in used to, we put a huge safety factor into everything. We
Mm-hmm.
used the best materials, and it was built to last. Now it's built to fail. And you're an engineer, you know exactly what I'm talking about, not in the spacecraft or NASA or anything else, but in the general population, what we come in contact with is designed to fail. Is that a correct statement?
Yes, that is absolutely correct. And that goes again with who the managers are and who the executives are. You are absolutely correct. And, the- when I talk about having smart callers, this is what I'm talking about. When Donald comes and say, we design things to fail, in effect, we put a time limit on things for economic activity for the shareholder and bonuses for the executives. What do we mean? We don't want products to last a long time anymore. And the reason we don't want to have products lasting a long more is we want to be able to remake them again and again and again. Now, bridges and so forth, theoretically speaking, these things that require our safety shouldn't have consumerism shouldn't come involved there. But even there with Boeing, you see that that when it comes to the capital class, they will do whatever it is because their stuff is not necessarily safety. They are as safe as we need to be, as efficient as we need to be to do what? Maximize the profits and bonuses for the shareholders and the executives. Go on, please, Donald.
Okay, if you look back in literature, or let's take the Alexander Hamilton Institute for Modern Business from 1905 to 1964, and you read these sections that were written by people of the time, the CEO had a different role than what he has today. Before, it was about community, this, that, and the other, and he was to protect it. In a global economy, they will sell their soul to the devil and their mama to make the money. And that's what we're in now. Nobody wants to look at the fact and see China's doing a way better job than we are when it comes to building and everything. Yes, the evils still occur, but it's not as bad because we're not going and trying to form a dictator to control it so we only have to deal with one person. They're going into these communities, they're harvesting the resources, which is horrible for the people in the community. But that's never going to change until we all change. And
Donald,
what you're saying, facts on here, Egberto, and you're showing a different point of view, and you continue to do what you're doing.
thank you, my brother. All right, look, hey, Donald, you go ahead and I didn't know you're an engineer, but I'm glad to hear that you're an engineer. Good man. All right, we
No, no, I'm not an engineer. I'm a manufacturing engineer, and I've built companies from the ground up, from concrete all the way up. And what happens is when the CEOs or the chiefs come in, they start dissecting it so they can get their profits.
let me
And
correct you again.
you
Let me
have
cor-
a whole
I need to
outcome.
Donald. I need to correct you. Engineer doesn't mean that you have necessarily a degree from MIT to be an engineer. What you just told me that you did, sir, you are an engineer. Anyway, so thank you, brother. You keep calling, you keep listening.
Thank you.
All right? Take care.
Let
Yep.
me to Donald's point. Things are built to fail, and that made me think of the John Deere tractors, the endless stories you've seen. And unfortunately, this I'm trying to pull up a CNN story and it won't pull up, but there's been complaint after complaint that you couldn't fix your John Deere tractor. And I'm on the website of John Deere, and then in the last couple, just in the last couple of weeks, they've given you permission to fix your own tractor. This exactly, and um, it says, today's modern tractors, our equipment doesn't fit in your pocket like a cell phone. Of course, you can't self-repair that either. It can weigh 15 tons and 18,000 parts. So they're giving you this explanation, oh, of course, you didn't have the skills to fix it. And now we've empowered you to fix your tractor that you paid all these money for. But it also speaks to activism and lobbying your public officials, as frustrating as that can be, because if people hadn't insisted they could fix their own tractor, you wouldn't be able to. But that just when Donald said this stuff is engineered to fail, it's engineered to fail, and then you can't even have the capacity to fix it, and then it literally takes an act of Congress to be able to fix it.
Neil, there is actually a name that we give this in this world. We call it manufactured obsolescence, or
Right.
yeah, so we have that. The other thing is that we have to understand that it is us having a poor design of an economic system that we continue to praise and prop up for all the wrong reasons. If we simply the system was designed by man. All right. When Neil talks about the corporation head in the past was a part of the community, well, Milton Friedman, the second god of capitalism, took that out of the way. If you go to Wikipedia and read his statement from 1971, I think it was, or sometime in those times, he said that the fiduciary responsibility of the executive is solely with the shareholders. They have nothing to do with social issues. They have nothing to do with community issues. Their sole thing is to make a profit. It's when I talk about it being an inhumane system, people think I'm just being negative towards it, but no. Milton Friedman told you capitalism must be inhumane. Read between the lines. Colby, come on in to the conversation, my friend.
Oh, good morning, Egberto.
Good morning, sir. Talk to me.
Yeah, I hit the campaign trail a little early today, but anyway, I was calling regarding one of your previous callers who mentioned, well, as you called it, the replacement theory.
Yes, that is not a caller. That is actually Neil that's on with us.
That was my.
Referring to what the other caller.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
Well, I just wanted to the thought that millions of people are coming to America because Democrats sent them the memo, "Hey, come to America," is just pretty. I just want to add the context that we basically shut off immigration during the pandemic, right?
Yes.
And during the pandemic, the whole world is suffering. Now, thanks to the leadership of Joe Biden, America has made quite a rebound. The rest of the world, not so much. And I think that's a huge driving factor when you throw in the fact that, yeah, we closed the doors for a little while, and then when we kind of opened them back up a little bit, the rest of the world's like, yeah, America's got it going on. They got a good leader. We're going there. That's Biden's America. It's that good.
I mean, let me tell you something, Colby. I can't argue with that at all because, in fact, I wrote an article and said the following. Biden, most of us that are very liberal, very progressives, Biden was not, we were not enamored with Biden, but we did go out there and vote for Biden because we thought comparatively he was the best choice. But then he gets into office and the policies that he passed followed what we call both the Keynesian economics and the modern monetary policies, modern monetary theory policies. And what he proved, because we had this crisis in which we had the opportunity to prove it, is that it works. Stephanie Kelton, economist Stephanie Kelton was correct. There is a slack in the economy that would not cause inflation. Then somebody says, well, look at the inflation that was caused by all that spending. Well, guess what? Katie Porter was right. Most of that inflation was not caused by either the infusion of cash in the market or otherwise. It was caused by corporate greed. Compare the profit in the profit statements with the increase in prices, and you see that you were ripped off. So thank you for pointing that out, Colby. And it goes a bit further than that, and it's something that we must talk about. And I think as long as you are out there talking about it, people won't get the curtains pulled in front of their eyes.
Thank you very much, Egberto. Keep doing what you're doing.
All right, you have a great day, my friend. Neil, your comments.
I have no comment on that call, other than appreciating the call. And I just wanted to, since we're hopscotching around, I want to just come back for a moment to the story we talked about earlier about the
tractor
rape pregnancies, and I just wanted to source it for people. So I just wanted it in people's mind. I just wanted to be the source for this is the Journal of the American Medical Association, because we didn't talk about the 26,313 rape-related pregnancies during the 16 months after the state outlawed all abortions, with no exceptions for survivors of rape or incest. And we're seeing these people who have been criminally attacked or who have medical problems have to leave the state. It's the Journal of the American Medical Association, the highest estimate, and of course we have the highest population, but the highest estimate among the 14 states with total abortion bans. So I just wanted that. This just shows you, as a man, even the most sympathetic person, the alternate reality that we all live in, blind to others' experiences. And I just didn't even, when I saw that number of 26,000 rape-related pregnancies in 16 months, I'm like, you hear about rape as a weapon of war frequently, and I just couldn't believe the number. That may be my own ignorance, but that's just rape-related pregnancies. That's not all sexual assaults and all that. So I wanted to drive that to the audience's mind, and I wanted to source it to a super credible source. And it's just, I don't want to say it's unbelievable because it's true, and I don't have the experience as others do. But when I saw that, I had to just sit for a minute or two.
It is shocking. That was really shocking to me as well. But let's go to Ilan. Ilan, come on in, Ilan. But Neil, that was a shocking statistics when I read it. Ilan, how are you doing, sir?
Good morning. Enjoying KPFT as a first subscriber. And the Arnie Arneson show in the first half hour had a really good guest from the Business Insider. But anyway, I've emphasized that, we have three portions to our government: the administrative, the
legislative,
and the legislative. But the fourth leg that keeps a watch over the other three is the media, the press.
The fourth estate, yes.
Got to have a free press. And it was a perfect example of what the hedge funds are doing in the news yesterday. Is that the Los Angeles Times, which used to be one of the leading newspapers nationwide, was laying off, 150 people, and claiming that they were less profitable, they couldn't afford it, and so on. But that's something that you and other listeners should be exploring. A hedge fund is a flexible investment company where a small number of large investors, usually a minimum investment is $1 million, and they use high-risk techniques which are not allowed in mutual funds, such as short selling and heavy leveraging. But they'll be combining companies and selling off their assets and then driving them into bankruptcy, all for the profit of their investors. So that's something to explore because it's happening to our media all over the place. And if there's no media, no reporters, then the other three branches of the government can just do as they please.
Ilan, you gave me an opening here to make a pitch here for why the importance of KPFT. And welcome aboard Melanie Keelan from Barcelona, Spain, and Eric Hayes from Kingwood. it is so important that we have media like what we do here that isn't paid for by the corporations or the hedge funds or any of that, because we can actually come out and tell you the way things are. The way, if you take a listen to what the conversation we had with Joe, Joe has the talking points of what the corporate state wants you to believe as far as how our economic system really works. We're here to say that's not how it really is. This is what's happening, and we give you the proof to what's happening with the appropriate radiologist. So you're absolutely right, Ilan, when you say we should be alarmed at what just happened at the LA Times, where 100 people were laid off. 150 of them, I think, started to strike. Now, we also have, I think it's the Baltimore Sun that just got taken over by a rich cat who goes ahead and tells them he doesn't like the news that they're putting out. Go make me some money. All right. That is his statement to
Right.
his editors. So it's happening all over the country. And what we try to tell people is you want a reason for why you should be supporting independents that are doing the same work like what we do here at KPFT and other places. Well, because the corporations are buying out the mainstream media.
Yeah.
We cannot be
Also,
bought. Go ahead,
this
Neil.
and right before that, right, the Sun, the Times, and then also this week they folded up Sports Illustrated, which used to break stories about all sorts of
Right,
things. Was an outlet for skilled photographers. It was journalism, and
right,
that too.
right. And go
I've
ahead,
made
Neil,
my
finish.
point
Yeah,
along
you
the
made your
line.
thank you, Elan. Appreciate your call, brother. I was reading, I was trying to yesterday. I have a news aggregator. I get international newspapers, local newspapers, alternate newspapers, and I aggregate them all with a product that I use called Feedly. So I bring in news feeds from all over so that I can get a better picture of what's going on, not only here in the United States, not only the US perspective, but the international perspective as well. And yesterday I was, I subscribe to the Chronicle. I think we should subscribe to our local papers. I subscribe to the Chronicle, and I go ahead and I'm trying to add the Chronicle because I normally read it from their website. And I say, you know what, I want to aggregate it as well with all the other papers that I aggregate. And I can't aggregate there's no RSS feed for the Chronicle that I could find. And then in searching all this stuff for the aggregation, I come across a part of the Houston Chronicle. At least they're telling you the truth. They have in there that we are using AI, but don't worry. The stories that we put out before AI gets before we release the story, we check to make sure the AI. I'm paraphrasing. We check
Right.
to make sure that the AI didn't make a mistake in what it generated. I was like, oh my God, wow. We have been, let me first tell folks a lot. I do a lot of video news. In other words, a lot of the news that I'm given is in video form. And in the past, I used to have to go ahead and re listen to what I'm saying to write it down. With the advent of I produce my stuff on air and also I give a narrative and then I pass it through AI so that it goes ahead and it pulls out what I've said. In other words, I initiate it, AI takes it. You have newspapers now that are doing the exact opposite. To create content, they are getting AI to create the content
Right. Right.
and
Right.
then modifying it for you. We are doing the right thing. That is, we create the narrative and then we go ahead and say, okay, since we have it in voice, go ahead and take it, turn the voice into words, turn the words. I mean, it's crazy. Bard, come
It's
on in. Go ahead, Neil.
no. Let's hear from the caller, please. Thanks.
Bard, come on in.
Yes, sir. Good morning. This Colby, you are very misinformed on the illegals coming across the border. Ecuador and Venezuela have emptied their prisons and sent them north. They're here now. The border's
Okay,
wide open.
Bart,
There's many.
Bart.
I
Oh,
work
Bart.
with these
No, no, no.
people.
I'm going to let you talk, but you made two statements that I want to know your corroboration. You said Ecuador and Venezuela emptied their prison and sent their people to the United States. What's your sourcing for that statement?
The prison is empty there. The
I'm
people are
saying,
probably
how do you know that, sir?
soldiers,
How, huh?
criminals and narcos and cartel and rapists
Again,
are here. They're in San
Bard,
Antonio. They're at
Bard,
Chicago
Bard.
Airport right now, sleeping
I
in the
let people
airport.
speak, Bard. I make people speak, but you made a statement. I am asking you, Bard, if you're going to tell our audience that, don't take our audience for fools, okay? You made a statement that Ecuador and Venezuela are opening up their prisons and sending them to the United States. What's your evidence for that statement?
Mr. Egberto, there is no source for these.
Then that comment doesn't make any sense, right?
Reporting stories.
Okay, so my question
I
is,
work
if
with these.
again, it's funny, right? Because it is easy for us to come out and just say these outlandish things, and then people make opinions on this, and it grows and it grows and it grows. My thing is, this is the truth. My network, the PDR network, and KPFT is a place of sources and truth. You made a statement, and that's a dangerous statement. And I'm saying the responsible thing for you to do when making a statement like that on air is to make sure that it is airtight of everything that I said on the radio today. Every concept from economics to immigration to otherwise is backed up and sourced. Now,
okay, please look up Ben. Can I talk now?
Yes, sir.
Ben Berquam, BenBerquam. He's on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, all of it. Look him up. He is there on the front line with his camera. He's got it all. I work with these people.
On the front line where?
Read
on the front line where?
America's Voice. He is a citizen journalist.
Yeah, you know what is interesting? Whenever we query those people to try to get truth out of them, it suddenly turns. I would love to get that in. I would love to see him show me where he was able to show that Venezuela and these places are just saying opening their prison and say, okay, walk through the Darien jungle in Panama, because they have to go through the jungle in my country of origin. And I can tell you that's no easy task. Anybody doing that, they're doing that for a reason.
They're brought by Coyote, but he's there on the front line at the fence with his camera every day, all day. He's at the border fence. He's not down in one little park in Eagle Pass. He's everywhere. He's in Chicago Airport filming 5,000 people sleeping inside the airport because it's too cold to go outside.
Go ahead, Neil.
I work with these people.
Hold on. Let Neil come in. Let Neil has a sit.
I've been interested in Venezuela. I thought just a few years ago under Donald Trump, we were helping the people leave because Maduro and Hugo Chavez were oppressing them, I keep waiting for the right wing to welcome Venezuelan migrants here like they do Cubans. When did the right lose interest in what they thought was an oppressive government in Venezuela, and they just became part of the hordes of immigrants?
Well, sir, I believe in borders, language, and culture. If you don't have borders, you don't have a country. So with this puppet Biden,
right. We take a different attitude.
Okay, Bard, we'll talk another time because I only have 2 minutes and Augie and Brian to talk to. So Augie, I'm sorry, but I can only give you about 45 seconds, Augie. Come on in, Augie.
Okay, no problem. Well, the border thing, we've had immigration problems since 1830s, but people don't know their history. Santa Ana put a sign on the Louisiana-Texas border telling Americans not to come in. And we've had an immigration problem ever since then because they kept coming in.
People should also read, Augie, the Guadalupe Hidalgo Treaty, because if they read the Guadalupe Hidalgo Treaty, where most of America Mexico was ceded to America, they'd learn a lot about our history. Guadalupe Hidalgo Treaty. Thank you, Augie. We'll talk tomorrow. Brian, come on in. You got 30 seconds, Brian.
Yeah. Now, I've seen a lot of films and a lot of different perspectives on the border. And it's worse than what CNN is saying because it makes Biden look bad. It makes Biden look terrible. Again, there's 30,000 or more Chinese immigrants of military age that came in from Guyana. That's the easiest route they can take. 30,000.
Okay.
Do you think they're here for the American dream?
Actually, yes, but we'll talk about that another time, Brian. I gotta go. Real quick, Neil, give me a closer before I go to Jack.
Very good. Local politics, the Houston Democracy Project. We're covering it. There's a Houston Democracy Project blog. And this Tuesday, the 7th anniversary of the John Cornyn Houston office protest, 11:30 to 1 at 5300 Memorial Drive. Don't forget the local politics and hold them accountable. The local stuff matters a lot. Thanks for having me.
Jack?
Yeah, I was kind of busy, so I really don't have a comment right now. But
no problem, Jack. I know it's been crazy. I get it. But anyway, folks, I just want to tell you guys, thank you for listening. Love you all of my callers, including the ones that are very antagonistic towards me, because that is how we learn together. Thank you, Jack, for really hammering things down. Thank you, caller, for reminding me that I was not streaming to YouTube as I should have until the middle of the show. We had a kind of a tepid start. A tough start. Anyway, look, folks, the immigration issue is a farce. It is a problem. There are a lot of people coming, but all the reasons that they're coming for, you are being snowed about. These things don't just happen in a vacuum. And I wish we had a more intelligent conversation about immigration. But when you start talking about language, culture, and all of that stuff, that tells you a lot. I want you to all recall one thing. The first settlers that weren't from here, that came here, they came, they maimed, they killed, they effected genocide on the people who assisted them. Those people who are coming over today, all they want is a job to take care of their families. Okay, let's do it in an orderly fashion. My name is Egberto Willies. This is Politics Done Right, and you know how I end this, baby. I am what? Out. Neil, thank you for being here.
Statistic of just how important fathers are to kids. Acknowledging a shortage of fathers for their annual Breakfast with Dads event, the Dr. Billy Earl Dade Middle School of Dallas, Texas, needed 50 more volunteer men to participate. So they posted the request on Facebook, and something quite surprising happened.